What's going on, guys? I'm back with another one. Yeah. I just finished watching a movie called Concrete Savannah, starring Sarah Hitzel, Rajiv Jacob, and Mia Matthews. First of all, originally, I was not supposed to even review this movie. Not right away. Not right now. Originally, I was supposed to review a movie called Psycho Goreman. And you're probably looking at the movie poster right now like, what the hell kind of movie is this? Now what brought my attention to this is when I watched the trailer, it reminded me of the Toxic Avenger days. And I brought that man's name up once again, because that is a guilty pleasure classic. And so is this. I can tell this is one too. It had all the ridiculousness, the crude humor. It was like a Power Ranger movie on acid. All right, it really was like that. But what changed my mind from doing this, it got to a point where I don't think the movie even knew what it was doing anymore. It was no longer a comedy or anything that made sense towards the end. And I couldn't take it serious. Even as a comedy, I could not take this serious. So I made a decision not to do the review, because it just, no, it's one of those, it's just one of those, all right? But if you want to see me do an actual review on this, let me know in the comment section. Press down there that you want to see it, and I will actually go ahead and do it. I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. Trust me. Going to have some fun with this. There's no choice but to do that. But yeah, I will actually do it. Just let me know. And that will be somewhat of a thrill ride right there. Now, let's get back to that actual review. Concrete Savannah, for those who don't know, for those who are not aware, and you're absolutely not aware about this. Trust me, I had to just stumble upon this movie. No one was talking about this. And I'm surprised not. I can see where not they wouldn't do it, or why they wouldn't do it, but it's yeah, Concrete Savannah. It's pretty much about a vlogger named Savannah Mills. And it's probably YouTube, but they did not mention that in the movie. Probably didn't want to get a sued or anything like that. But it's probably a YouTube vlogger. And she's a coming up vlogger, struggling a little bit there. And so she's willing to do anything to get to the top. And she chooses a path that I would never, ever choose as a YouTuber. Never go this way. She decides she's going to start performing sacrificial rituals on random innocent people. All right. And so she begins her journey with this. She's going to sacrifice innocent lives. Now, while she's doing this, she starts to notice that there is a change in her success. She's getting calls for, casting, stuff like that. And, so it seems to be working. This sick little process seems to be doing something for her. But then, because she's doing stuff like this, it starts to become who she is, if you get what I'm saying. And now she's struggling with a new side of herself that she didn't have before. But, I could see where she had the room to let that in her. But she didn't have this before, and now she has to deal with it. And so the movie pretty much is a question of, can she maintain the fame and at the same time fight those bloodthirst that she has. That's the point of the premise of the movie. All right. So now, positives. I like that they went places in this movie that a lot of movies of this caliber never really go. All right. There are things that take place in here that are not for your common viewer. A lot of people are going to be disgusted by a lot of stuff in here. But this is just what people who live this lifestyle do. When you think it's okay to sacrifice somebody else, innocent, just so you can get a little extra money, a little extra attention, you don't have any morals. You don't have any moral standards, any set morals. Okay, so anything goes now. Now there's a sacrifice in here that I was just boggled by, that I was disgusted by, like, honestly. But then I understood that that's when you do this, when you do stuff like this, you'll do this as well. And this is a common sacrifice amongst a lot of old, cultures that we don't even know about that do this. I'm not saying what sacrifice she made that disgusted me, but when you see it, you'll probably catch it. All right, but I didn't even agree with this one. I was like, nah, not even for just like a movie. So my sympathy for her went down a lot. Yeah. Another positive. There's a scene in here with her and her mother, played by Mia Matthews, where it made you understand why she would choose this path, why she would make the decision to just start sacrificing people. All right, because the way her mother treated her, the pressure that her mother put on her to be just like her, to be successful just like her, the stuff she told her in their conversation about, she knew from 4 years old that she wouldn't be anything. That's crazy. And then she got a kick out of humiliating her own daughter. She made her crawl on her knees to her in order to give her some money. Now, and also she brought up the fact that her father usually would baby her and spoil her all the time. And it was, it was a crutch or it hindered how she became an adult. Now, there's some truth to that, but the extremes in which the mother went, it's not necessary, man. You can be tough on your kids without doing all that. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. And so that part of the movie is going to make you feel something. Okay, just that part. That part right there made me understand her a little bit, but nothing past that of the choices she made. All right. Now, a few other things that I liked about this movie. There's a scene in here, and I can't explain too much about it, but it's pretty much the scene where you're like, okay, she's not alone. She's not alone in this crazy, sadistic battle. All right, that's all I'm going to say about that. Also, there's a part, I'll say this. There's a part towards the end, or pretty much the ending. I'm not going to say what happens, of course, but before they got to that part, I was already like, man, so this has to happen for this to be at least a decent movie. This has to happen. With everything that's going on with her, this has to take place in the movie for it to make any sense. Because it didn't seem like that for a minute. but then it actually happens. And the outcome to that is, it will blow your mind. I know a lot of people are going to be jumping up and yelling at the screen when they see what is chosen, the decision chosen at the end, what people do in order. And let's just keep in mind that her mother always pressured for her to find a good man, a man with some money, a man with some dreams, right? Keep that in mind when you're watching this movie. And then take into consideration everything that you're watching all the way up until that point. Okay, it gets deep. It gets very deep. Now, let's get to those negatives. My first dislike about this movie. In the beginning of this movie, while I was watching it, I felt like I was waiting for a point to this movie. It was doing things. Things were happening with the sacrifices and all that. But it didn't seem like it had a solid goal to the movie. Like there would be no climax to this. It would just end with some nonsense. I felt like that in the movie. Yeah, the first half of the movie it just frustrated me. It felt like it was going nowhere. And the acting, we'll get to that in a minute. The acting we'll get to in just a minute. All right. But it felt like it was going absolutely nowhere. And that can piss some people off because it's not a short movie. All right. So that first half, it's a bit rough. I'm going to warn you right now. It's a bit rough. It's a tad bit rough. And then let's get to that second half of the negative. Why it was rough. The acting is horrendous. It was so bad, especially from the lead actress, Sarah Hitsel. I'm calling you out, man. I'm calling you out. That acting, I've seen better acting on those shows that come on Cinemax at night. I've seen better acting on there. Everything she did was like talking like this. Oh my God. And you don't need to stop in between every word. It's like, I felt the script, the cue cards were right on the other side of that camera. And everybody was just, the eyes moving back and forth. I felt like that was going on. That acting really needed to be better. It messed a lot of things up. It made a lot of scenes harder to watch. You just wanted to get to the good stuff. You know what I'm talking about? This is a horror or psychotic thriller. So you wanted to get to the good stuff and not hear any of the dialogue that was being said. It was so bad. There could have been a big change in that. And that really was one of the biggest flaws in this movie. Because other than that, this is an alright cool. It is. It's an alright cool. That's right. And I'm saying that because this type of movie really didn't need a big budget in order to bring its point across. All right, it really didn't need that. The content of the movie, the subject matter, very, very intriguing, very thought processing, things that make you think. Because this is very much going on in entertainment business. All right, this thing they're talking about in this movie, it's real. It's real. Okay, it's crazy. It's out there, man. There's some crazy stuff out there, man. I'm not gonna say too much, but it's just some things out there, and it's scary. That's some scary. It can be really a real life horror. All right, now press that like, subscribe to my channel, and share this. Share this. I'll be back.